welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having an amazing day. We are pretty much near the end. Like, this is pretty much end. I think tomorrow will be where I put it all together, and I'm going to show you what I'm actually going to be packing, like as if I was going on a cruise. So I'm not going on a cruise right now. I'm actually preparing to go to a very cold climate. But I'm hoping it's just beautiful, and I'm going to take it all in and just love every second of it. So, this is all about your cruise gear. And it's not just like your tech gear or anything like that. These are the things that you're going to bring typically because you kind of make things easier for your cruise. Now, people who are doing vlogs and creating stuff or just preserving memories and things like that may have a few more things to bring than others. So my first go-to thing, of course, I think this is everybody's, is their cell phone. Now, of course, you always want to put this in airplane mode so you don't get those roaming charges. You can also turn off your roaming, but it'd be even safer, put it in airplane mode. Now, I just really think, you know, just having it a good case on it and a good cover and stuff, just to be safe. I have the one that has the ring. Some people have the pop. I like to be able to hold it like this. I have smaller hands, and this seems to work a little better for me. But this works well for me. I use a Samsung. This is a S10 Plus, and so it has, you know, all the lenses on the front, and then two on the, four on the back, two on the front. I think, I don't know, maybe. But it actually, I'm really loving it. Now, I don't have an iPhone. I've never used an iPhone. My daughter has an iPhone. I think my son and my daughter-in-law. But pretty much the rest of us, I think, have, oh, and I think my son-in-law has an iPhone. But pretty much the rest of us have Samsungs. That's not even right? The rest of us, okay, half of us have Samsung, half of us have iPhones. And so, these are our go-to. Now, what I did hear from my daughter is that when she bought her iPhone, it doesn't have as much memory. I'm not really sure. Anyway, I typically can go pretty hard on this phone, and it will hold a lot. So, I mean, it's a good thing that I don't know how much memory is on it, but I kind of don't care. I just know that it works really, really, really well. So I think it's based on, so if you're going to look for a good phone to like vlog and things like that, of course you're going to want to make sure that you have something that will hold a lot of memories if this is the only device or the main device you're going to be using. Okay. Alright, most people have like a GoPro, things like that. I haven't invested that much money into one of those, although I'm looking at that and a DJI Action. I know they have the pocket ones too, but I'm kind of like, I'm not really sure. I don't really know how much I actually would be using it. And to invest $400 or $500 into something like that, it's not really my thing. I use this little Akaso 4K little action camera, and it's worked fine. Like, I really can't tell the difference between my footage and my friend's footage that had a GoPro. And he said it kind of looked almost the same, so it didn't look any different. Now, what I have noticed on this is it's a little difficult to use. I don't know, because I'm not too familiar with these, but it's worked just fine for what I've used it for. So, I have that. One of the main things I would use this for is I tried to bring one of these floaty devices. And so this is one of the biggest main things that I bring, which I hate bringing this thing sometimes, but it has actually saved me, and I can hold it pretty well, and I can move around pretty well with this. So this is one of the things that I do bring especially if I know I'm going to go on something with water excursion or something like that. If I know I'm not going to have any kind of water excursions or anything like that, I probably wouldn't even bring this. So that little camera came with two batteries, and they last for, I don't know, a good hour, maybe a little over an hour and a half, maybe about an hour and a half each. So between the two of them, if I have them charged, it's about it's about 3 hours for these, and a little device to, you know, charge them in. So it works pretty easy. And I typically will just keep it in a little bag. Nothing fancy. I'm not fancy. Maybe someday, but no, not me. Alright. One of the main things when you have a lot of these devices, of course, is charging. So I have this little 4 opening USB port. Now, for some reason, this works well some places, and for some reason when I plug it in, it doesn't charge at all. So I don't know if it's not strong. I don't know what it is about this one. So I still will bring typically a hub, and I will show you that. Alright, so this is kind of a hub that I would use. This is one that typically goes right into the electrical outlet. I have another one that's actually on a plug. These have to be, if it's on a plug, no surge, so it can't be a surge protector one, just a regular little hub. So I have another one that's on a cord. I actually have 2 other ones. My daughter-in-law and son have it right now. And so, but these are pretty good to use. Now, obviously, if I plug this in, it's probably going to cover both outlets, and so I still only have 2 outlets here, right? I know, it's crazy. So that's why I typically like the ones that are on the cord. Now, I've heard that some people, even with them not being surge protectors, they have been taken away from them when they're on the cord. I don't know why, and I don't know if it's by cruise line, different cruise lines. I haven't had an issue yet. But I think I would just bring both as kind of like make sure I have a backup. Plus I have this just in case. Alright. So that's that. Alright. So to kind of contain all my cords and things like that, especially with my watch, and my charging stuff, I have this little thing. Now, I picked this up at TJ Maxx. I think it was maybe $6, $5. It wasn't expensive at all. And it's just a rolling one. And it has a strap that can be adjusted to make it tighter or not. And this actually has worked out pretty well. And I've packed it pretty good to where it's puffed out. And I still have like no issues with making sure everything is inside of here. So, yeah. And this is an item that goes in my backpack typically, because I may have like my earphones in there, I may have like my charging stuff for my cell phone, and so this would go in like my backpack if like I checked my luggage or something like that, so I could get to my charging stuff right away. So that would go in there. I do bring a little stand-up little gimbal thing. I like this to be able to, it sits on the table pretty easily, like the vanities in there so you can film. I really do like having this, especially if I don't have room for my tripod, which is another big item. And so if I don't have room for that tripod, this typically will work pretty well. I mean, it's one of those that will pretty much attach to anything. So, and I like it. I mean, I can hold it pretty well, and so it's not too bulky for me. What I'm filming on right now is my Nikon B700, I think, camera. It's a Coolpix camera, but it has like the extender thing on it, and it works really well. It's a little heavy, but it actually gives the best, as you can kind of tell, the best kind of video and stuff. So I typically like using that to vlog and talk, and it doesn't turn my words around on my shirts and stuff like that. On that, I actually use this little device underneath, which actually holds it well. It is a little heavy. It's very solid, so it actually could stand it up, and it would stand it up on pretty much anything. And but I really do like using this little tiny one to actually hold it. It works out much better than me trying to hold the actual camera, so I do this, and it works out just fine. If you've seen my Mediterranean vlogs, then you would have seen me holding this with the camera, probably in the bathroom or something. Whatever. Alright, and for that Nikon camera, I just basically bring this little bag. I have 3 batteries for it, and just this one charging thing, and I just switch them out. I do have a cord that can go directly into a charging station from the camera to actually pump up the battery in the actual camera itself. But I usually keep these charged pretty well, and I've never even had an issue, and I think I've done pretty well with them. I keep them charged at home. I'll just keep it out. I'll keep this item out, and I'll just switch them out as I see that it gets green, and then pop in a new one, and then I'm usually good to actually record all day long. Another item I bring is my cell phone device thing. So this holds my cell phone. It just can go into the tripod that it's there, or it can go onto this. And so I can walk around with this if I wanted to. Like that. Or I can switch it out to this little device as well if I wanted to use my cell phone instead. And this makes it much easier to carry around. So now my hand is small, and this is probably only about 3 inches, and so this works for me. It may not work for a couple other things. So this is my passport holder, and I've shown this before. This is RFID protected. I have heard recently where someone was walking and they didn't have their stuff RFID in an RFID holder, and somebody came, swiped, and they were able to get their credit card information. So make sure you have something like this. Always travel with something like this. I always recommend also getting a passport when you travel. It's just so much easier, and especially with the changes to flying, even domestically with the real ID. With a passport, you're pretty much cutting out. You don't even need the real ID. If you have a passport, you can pretty much go anywhere. Pretty much. So another cruise gear item, which I did mention a little bit ago, was a lanyard, and I packed it, I think, in my other bag a few videos ago. But you definitely need a lanyard. It makes life so much easier to put your card on, and just, it just makes life easier, let me tell you. Alright, and then, so I like to bring a snorkel mask. And so this is a full face one. I did have some that were the snorkel and mask, and I actually left them on a sailboat. Yeah, on an excursion. And literally, I think we were almost back to the cruise ship, and I was just like, I just don't even want to deal with it. Just forget it. So, invested in this one, and actually used this in Cozumel about a year ago for the first time. And this is fantastic. It actually works really well. I love it much better than the snorkel mask separate. So this is my go-to, and I love it. And I typically don't use flippers. I don't need any of that. So even on excursion when they offer them, I tell them no. I know there's science to it, and it can you through the water easier and stuff like that. But it feels to me like they're weighting down my feet, so I really don't care for flippers. So don't use that. So when I'm packing my shoes, one of the biggest things is to make sure I put them in some kind of, protective bag or something like that. What's good about these is that a lot of these are from, like, when you've bought, like, sheets and pillowcases, or when you've gotten stuff from Amazon. So a lot of these are from that. I also have shower curtain caps, which of course everybody knows, they just pop on the bottom and you're good to go. But some of these bags are good for other things. So typically like wet shoes or wet bathing suits, things like that. All of these things I like to take a few extra little bags like this in order to, if there's something that got soiled a little bit more, then I don't really want it around my other stuff, even if it's dirty clothes stuff, then I will typically bring a few extra of these little things. And pretty simple, you can kind of roll them up and stick them inside your shoes or whatever. I mean, they don't take a lot of space, so you can shove things in your shoes. We shove our socks in our shoes, we do all kinds of things. So you can pop these in there and you can have a few extra little things. So those are all the things that I qualify under like cruise gear, tech gear kind of stuff. Things that I feel I need. Now, you may not need them, but I feel I need them. So if you have something that you must have, must bring, have to have it, can't live without it, leave a comment below and tell me what it is. If you have any questions, please also leave a comment below and I'll be happy to answer it. If you like this video, give it a little like, and don't forget to subscribe. Take care and have a great day.